So, the iPhone XS in 2021, how does it perform? Hey, welcome back to the channel, I'm Oren, I hope you're having a great day. So, the iPhone XS, I've had it since it was released, it's a great phone and I've used it almost every day, but is it still worth it 3 years later in 2021? The design of the iPhone XS is now 4 years old, introduced on the iPhone X, and it still looks as good as the day it was released. And in my opinion, the size of the phone is just great for everyday use. The front of the phone contains the hated notch that everyone learnt to put up with. It contains a 7 megapixel front-facing camera and a front-facing speaker and a range of sensors to unlock your phone using Face ID. This is a sandwich design with glass on the top, metal in the middle and glass on the bottom. It was first introduced on the iPhone 4 over 10 years ago, and it's what most modern smartphones feature today, and it looks modern, sleek and nice and allows for wireless charging. The back is made up of glass, it comes in 3 colours and features a nice shiny Apple logo, and the sides are stainless steel, a much stronger metal than the cheaper iPhones made out of aluminium. The right side of the iPhone features a long sleep/wake button. This can also be used to activate Siri, and the left side of the phone features a mute switch and volume controls, with the bottom consisting of speakers, a charging port and a microphone. Now there is dust and water resistant at an IP rating of 68, and what this means is it can be underwater submerged at a depth of 2 meters for up to 30 minutes. No one I've seen recommends this and I don't recommend it either. And if it's in salt water, it lasts even less time. I always have a case on the device and a glass screen protector to prevent any damage, because if I didn't, I'd drop my phone too much and there probably would be a crack on it by now. It's actually surprisingly fast. I've not noticed any decline in performance over the past few years, and it's probably going to get many more updates of iOS, looking at Apple's previous track record with the iPhone 6s coming out in 2015 and still getting iOS 15 in September. The phone feels surprisingly fast and snappy with flagship performance. This is down to its A12 Bionic chip and 4GB of RAM. It can play games, stream video, record video and edit photos. It can basically do anything that a flagship smartphone can do. The phone comes in 64GB, 256GB and 512GB of storage. I wouldn't recommend the 64GB option unless you get the iCloud storage plan, but even then it's not the best for future-proofing your phone. I just really recommend 256GB and upwards, and you just won't regret getting that. It'll last you for many years to come. The phone also features an OLED display, meaning blacks are black and colours are vibrant. It's very similar to the iPhone X's display, and it's better than the iPhone XR's and the 11, not the 11 Pro. The phone also features a True Tone display. This means the screen changes colour depending on your environment, but to you it looks like the same colour no matter where you are. The display on this phone is great, but comparing it to an iPhone 12 Pro you will see a slight difference, but anything you do on the phone, from gaming to video editing and photo editing, will look great on this device. Now the iPhone XS has one of my all-time favourite features that iPhones offer. It was originally introduced on the iPhone 6s, and that is 3D touch. It allows you to move through apps with the press of a thumb on the screen, because it has a layer on the screen that can sense how hard you're pressing. It can be used to open apps and other things like that. It was replaced with software on the newer models, but it just doesn't have all of the functionality that these older devices have, and it's something I will really miss when I upgrade. The front-facing camera is 7 megapixels. It can take some decent selfies and some okay video with good stabilization and some alright dynamic range at 1080p up to 60 FPS. The rear of the smartphone also features a 12 megapixel dual camera. One is a telephoto lens for taking close-up pictures, and one is a wide-angle lens for taking everyday photos. The camera is good and it can take some really decent photos with Smart HDR, and it can also record up to 4K at 60 FPS. Comparing these cameras with, say, the iPhone 12 Pro's cameras, you will notice a big difference, especially at night with nighttime photography, with night mode on the iPhone 12 Pro just making pictures look so much better than what you can do on the iPhone XS. I won't go too much more in depth on the cameras because I've got a full video on my channel dedicated to the cameras on the iPhone XS. One thing I will touch on though is bokeh. If you take a picture on the rear camera and use portrait mode, you can edit the depth of field later in the actual phone, which is a great feature to have. For example, now you can see it's blurry and now it's in focus. Now this is something that very high-end cameras have, and it's great to see it on an iPhone from 2018. You can change the aperture by heading into Photos, clicking edit on the photo you want to edit, and then clicking the aperture button in the top left corner. and then just use the scroll wheel to choose the focus you want. Moving on to battery life, the iPhone XS's battery is actually smaller than the iPhone X's because Apple. They said this was because the performance of the smartphone uses less energy with its new processor and overall internals, but why not just include the iPhone X's battery and get even longer battery life? Anyway, I find myself charging the phone twice each day or throughout the day in mini intervals if I am in the house. The battery life is just what lets the phone down, and everything else about the phone seems very fine apart from that. If you plan to buy one of these used or refurbished, I highly recommend you find out the battery health before buying it, because you might find yourself, even with a really good battery, turning on low power mode throughout the day. To turn on low power mode, simply go to settings, battery, and then turn on low power mode. Or add it to control center for easier access. Do this by going to settings, control center, and then click the little plus button on the low power mode. Now when you swipe control center down, you should see low power mode as an option to click. So, is it worth it in 2021? It's aged really well over the past few years, it feels snappy and resembles the latest iPhones, and it still features similar performance to the latest iPhone 12 Pro, and honestly you can't really go wrong with this device. It just is really good. The only thing that lets it down is the battery life, but I still recommend it just because of its price versus performance. When the phone first released, it was around £1,000 or dollars with a 64GB version. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend this, but now it can be found with a 256GB version on the refurbished section of Apple's website for around £750. I still wouldn't recommend you getting it for that price, but if you can find it cheaper somewhere else, it is a really good phone to buy. So if you've got this phone, you've got yourself a really good smartphone that will last for years to come, features similar performance to the iPhone 12 Pro, and is just an overall really nice design to carry around with you, and it fits into any pocket really easily. If you made it this far, let me know your favourite thing about the iPhone in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. I have more tech reviews and other tech related content on my channel. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day.